Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Karen Doyle and I'm part of the CTAM Europe team. I hope you're all feeling fit and healthy today. I'm happy to welcome you to today's webinar. If you're joining us for the first time, just a little introduction to CTAM Europe. We're a professional membership organisation with just short of 300 members. We started in 2004 with a vision to advance marketing excellence in the cable industry, as well as the mastery of new technologies. As you know, an awful lot has changed for us and the industry in those 16 years. Our members-only webinars are normally once a month. However, we want to keep everyone connected and switched on through these turbulent times. So we're hosting webinars each week. For the next few weeks, you think of them as your webinar Wednesdays. I know today is a Thursday, but this is just a one-off. So let me introduce you to today's presenter. There he is, Dennis Hodges, founder of Creatalyst, a global strategy boutique and a past founder and chairman of CTAM Europe. In his usual upbeat way, Dennis will be discussing his 7 top tips to effectively working from home. We want it to be as interactive as possible with questions along the way, so you can use the button on your screen and submit them over to Dennis. Before he starts, he's just going to share with you a short 90-second video about our executive management program. We hold it annually at INSEAD since 2014. Registration is open, the class is 2/3 full, and we are expecting it to sell out as it has done in many of the past years. The dates are in June, and hopefully we are now currently still scheduled to go ahead. So sit back and enjoy, and I'll hand you over to Dennis.
Thank you, Karen, and good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're doing well today. Let's jump into the INSEAD video to get us started here.
CTAM Europe Executive Management Program at INSEAD. An intensive, comprehensive learning and development experience developed for the connectivity and entertainment industry. A program to help industry leaders stay one step ahead of the changes in our industry. At the inception of the 5-day program, we chose to partner with INSEAD, the business school for the world, whose global MBA program has been ranked as the #1 program in the world for 2 consecutive years. Senior executives at the top of the organizations have the time to reflect and think about the seeds and trends of change during the 5-day program. The program has helped over 150 senior industry leaders become better leaders throughout the past years. The classes are generally around 20 to 30 participants, and therefore chances for discussions throughout the week are extensive. In addition, there are some fabulous organized networking and social events. New contacts are made and nourished throughout the week and beyond. We hope to welcome you or your organization's leaders onto our next program.
Excellent, looks great. Well, once again, welcome everybody. You know, we're living in truly VUCA times. And as you know, VUCA stands for volatile, uncertain, chaotic, and ambiguous. It's kind of interesting. I gave a talk at Cable Congress a couple of years ago that talked about VUCA times. I had no idea what I was talking about compared to what we're dealing with today. And just for reference, I've got the hookup. So if you're in a pinch, I've got your back, or backside, maybe you want to call it that way. Let's jump into it. A little bit about me. I've worked remotely now for the past 10 years. I worked for myself and worked on my own and worked out of my home. And so I got a bit of experience in this space. What I do is I teach and train how to unlock creativity and drive innovation. And I organize it with teams and your companies, individuals. I do workshops as well. I do give keynotes, as I said, lead workshops, trainings. Have also done some MC work. In fact, here's a shot from me at the NEM conference last summer in Dubrovnik. Creativity is a big part of my life, not just in terms of the training I do and so forth, but also on a personal level. I published a book a couple of years ago called 11.5 Ways to Ignite Your Creativity. There's a creative video series I have on YouTube called Creative Nibble, worth checking out. You have a little bit of time now. They're 2-minute clips about creativity. Might find some inspiration there, I hope. I do photography, as I mentioned. Here's an exhibition of mine from last fall in China before the big bug. So I got out of there in time. And most recently, I've started doing adjunct faculty teaching at the graduate school at the University of St. Mary. So a little bit of mix of working my creativity into different aspects. Want to know, and you've got the Q&A window there. If you would please just pop in there real quickly what your situation is right now at the moment. Are you still at work and expecting to go home? Are you already been sent home? Do you normally work from home on a remote basis, or you have no idea what's going on, but you're kind of curious to be anticipating that? If you could pop that in the Q&As, I'd like to see that. Some answers there, please. Give me just a second. You are there, right? Oh, here's some Q&As coming in. You're working from home, okay. Working from home the full week already, okay. Working from home, all right. Several people just away from home already. Already in home office, currently working from home since Monday, okay. New person, okay, jumping in there, great. Okay, good, good, some good answers here. So some of you that are working from home, you may have some things to add to the conversation beyond my experience. And so I welcome you to share your thoughts and so forth. And for those of you who are working from home new, this is really hopefully gonna help you out as you make that transition to your home space. The first tip I have for you is really to set and maintain a schedule. If you think about your normal work week as it was before you got sent home or if we started working from home, you had a schedule. Your alarm goes off about the same time every day. You had a morning routine you would do, whatever it was, get your coffee, shower, get ready for the day, get the kids out the door, whatever that routine was. I encourage you to maintain that routine. I think it's really important to keep that schedule in place because that will also help you as you go throughout the day. With that, you need to allow for some variances now, of course, because if you have school-age kids, they're probably now home with you. And so there's probably some homeschooling you have to work into your agenda. But again, even with the kids, to get them on a schedule and help maintain that schedule during this away time from their normal routine will help you quite a bit. Now, one thing you'll find too is that now that you're working from home, you're going to have less interruptions, right? People aren't going to pop in your door with a quick question. You're not going to get drawn into a meeting down the hallway. So you're going to have some extra time in there. And part of that is you're going to find yourself easily glued to your PC like full time. And I'm not going to do the health issues, but it's been widely publicized that sitting in front of a computer for hours at a time is really, really, really bad for you. So you need to make a conscious effort of just getting up every so often, stretching, go for a little walk, refresh your coffee or tea, go look outside or something, but step away from your computer, stand up for a bit. They're actually, I don't have them in my technical tips here, but there are actually stand-up desks that are available. And there's some that are made out of cardboard. They're like $50, 50 euros in that range. So pretty good options to try to get you out of your chair, but do get up and around and stretch your legs. But while you're stretching your legs, be careful of not wandering over to the pantry, right? It's so easy now that your home fridge is right there and your pantry is right there with lots of tempting snacks and things to chew on. And it's a stressful period, and oftentimes a great relief is to snack a bit more. So I encourage you to not do that, but actually to treat the fridge like you do the fridge at the office, which is probably avoid it most of the time. But anyway, but just to make sure that, whatever your normal eating and snacking routine is in the normal workday, to try to maintain that. Because I think you'll find that at the end of this seclusion period, you might not be able to maintain your weight quite so easily if you keep running to and from the fridge. It's also just a bad habit to get into. So treat your fridge like you do already, especially when you're at work. And the same with the pantry. Just be careful about that side of it. So here's a couple of thoughts for you about, again, just kind of recap the schedule routine, is the do things that get up at your usual time, set that alarm, get out of bed, do your routine. Now, if you've gone to the gym in the past, you're not going to go to the gym now for a while, but obviously a lot of good videos on YouTube and other places that can help you build an exercise routine in there. And so do your usual pre-work routine, whatever that is. I tend to study first thing in the morning, and then so I'll read a little bit, I do get on with my day. Use that found time you have now. I'm curious, pop into the Q&A section over here, if you would please, what your normal commute was, okay? How long was it from your home to work? Just pop into question and answers here, if you would please, and take a look here. Got some answers coming in here. Can I see these? I can't see these. Oh, here we go, now I got it. 20, 30 minutes, okay, hour and a quarter, 40, 45, hour and a half, 15-minute walk. That's not a bad one, actually. 40 minutes, okay, so now, you've had these 40 minutes, you now got 40 minutes. You have 80 minutes a day, or 3 hours in the case of an hour and a half commute, 3 extra hours in a day for you. And so you're going to find that's going to give you some cushion there. So you start your morning routine, but now you don't have that commute. So you have a choice. You want to go to work early, or do you want to take a little time for yourself to maybe do some reading, or do something for yourself a bit different what you've normally done in the past. So capitalize on that time that you have available. It's a great time also to take advantage of some online resources. I mentioned exercise videos, there are ebooks, great time for podcasts, great time for TED videos, like 17, 18 minutes long. Great way to start your day. And sometimes I find myself watching a TED video instead of reading the news, because the news is pretty depressing right now. And TED videos are always pretty good for the soul. What you want to be careful about when you're at home is don't take advantage of saying, I'm just a knockout, I'm going to go out and weed the garden right now, because you do have work you need to get done. You may have some more time in the day because you don't have that commute at the end of the day, but save those home tasks until a little bit later in your schedule. Be careful about wanting to plop down the couch and binge on the latest popular series. Easy to do, and suddenly you're home, and who's going to know the difference? But again, try to maintain your schedule. And again, just be sure not to cruise the fridge and the pantry. I highly encourage you to have a dedicated workspace that you're working from, preferably with a door. We've all worked from home at different times in our lives for different reasons. Bring work home, we sit at the dining room table. That works for an evening, works for maybe a day or two. For an extended period, it's really good if you can find a separate room. Maybe it's even your bedroom, which is with a table set up in it, but someplace you can close off. And what that does for you is, one thing, when you step to that doorway, you're not going to work. Close the door, you're now at work. It's your focus. You can really focus on your work. Also, again, if you have school-age children at home, great way to kind of distance you from them just a wee bit, so you can focus and get some work done in that space. So just think about, do you have that space? What can you do from a private space that's away from things? It also is handy, of course, having that door when you're on a conference call like this, or this is just webinar for you, but if you're on a conference call with a client or with your staff even, not to have the dog barking in the background or the kids barging in asking for something to drink. It could be a good thing to have that door, be able to close it off and give yourself a little bit of privacy. The next one is talking about dressing appropriately. And this is a really interesting one because it's very much a personal decision. I mean, business casual can take on a whole new meaning if you're working from home. You can sit and do your work in your bathrobe. I'm sure we've all done that, but not sure it's really appropriate for a video conference, for example. Now, I'm quite comfortable wearing, something really, a t-shirt and some shorts, or whatever, just to hang out in bare feet. I'm quite capable of doing that and working on really, really serious work at the same time. I know several people who they need to put on their business clothes and go to work in their business attire because it gets them in that mindset. Purely your call. What works for you is what's most important. There's one rule of thumb, and that is that when you're doing video conferences like this one, is from the waist up or the chest up, the chest would be the waist up anyway. It's business on the top, maybe party on the bottom. So you can have your board shorts and go bare feet or whatever below. I'm not. I do have jeans on today. But you can dress comfortably below the table, but above the table, try to look professional. It makes a difference. I did a call with a client the other day and actually put on one of their logoed sweatshirts. And I did it just for fun. It was cold here, and there's a great warm sweatshirt, plus it's branded for them. And the client actually said, that's the most casual we've ever seen you on a call. And that really resonated with me because I always do dress for them and just went casual with their branded logo type thing, but it struck them that I was really casual. So it surprised me, actually, the response surprised me a bit. Let's talk a little bit about technology here. So this is a list of technology that I use in my work. And there are a lot of great options out there. Slack is a great one for chatting with colleagues and for sharing some information, sort of grouping together, talking about some issues. We're using Zoom for this webinar, and I use Zoom myself for my work, and it works like a dream. I did a call last night with a client. We had 15 people on a video call, not a problem at all. They were scattered all over, and it worked really, really well. I prefer Dropbox. I like Dropbox for its file sharing capabilities. There are a lot of people use Google Docs in some cases. I'm happier, more comfortable using Word and Excel and these types of software. So I'm happier using Dropbox to share files. Let me just take a quick peek. Someone just wrote something in here. Okay, so you're using Microsoft Teams with AMC. Got it. Thank you, Louise. So you all have these different applications out there that are working. Just for reference, the camera I'm looking at here working with you is a Logitech camera. And as you can see, it's really high resolution. Now, most laptops anymore have really good cameras on them too. did a little test last night with Karen setting up this call between the two cameras. And my laptop is fine. It's a new laptop, so the camera's really good. This is just a little crisper. It's really kind of what you need. I prefer the better camera. You can also kind of see down here in the lower corner, perhaps, is my blue Yeti microphone. And it's great if you think about podcasting, for example. A good microphone makes a lot of sense. But again, oftentimes even headsets that you're using to plug in are sufficient for a microphone, or even what's on your laptop. It just depends upon the application. With your Teams, it could be easier than it might be with, if you're doing a client call or something. I use ExpressVPN for a VPN. I think it just gives me a little extra barrier of security for my web access. And a lot of us are accustomed to traveling, and there's usually business internet we have available. And so print something on the road. Well, you have a good printer at home and a scanner. I mean, fax machines, I haven't used a fax machine in years, but scanners come in handy all the time. Canons, there's some great Canon machines, a lot of good ones out there. I just happen to have a Canon that I like a lot. And the last one's kind of tucked down here in the corner is the idea of a whiteboard. A lot of us have whiteboards in our offices. Do you have one at home? And I needed one in my home office. And to buy a whiteboard, they're incredibly expensive for all they really are. But there's whiteboard paint. And one good one is Rust-Oleum makes a good one. And you paint it on according to the instructions. It takes about 3 days to dry, but then it's there. It's just like a whiteboard. I've got a 2 meter by 3 meter whiteboard in my workspace. It's brilliant. And the good news is the paint can costs like 20 euros. It's nothing. So it's a great, great value in that case. Now, I've put together a list of my technology. I'm curious what you guys are using with your technology. What tools? Louise mentioned AMC is using the Microsoft Teams. What is some of the software that you're using that works really well? At the end of the call, Karen is going to send out to you my list with some links on there. I don't get paid for the links. They're just out of courtesy for you to try to help you find these different links. Just a quick list to help you get going on those types of things. See what you guys are writing here. Yeah, Zoom is great. It is sharp. It's lovely. That's what we're on right here. And it's so easy to use and plug in. On my call last night, I was actually working with an older client, as in age older. And there's some people in the 70 plus category who not that technology savvy. They were on. They figured it out. Worked like a dream. So if you have any other tips or tools you're using, let me know here. Let's see what you're working on. VPN, Zoom, and a notepad. There you go. That's good. Office 365, Kevin, absolutely. Yeah, there are a lot of good applications out there that work. Also use Skype. Yeah, Skype works as well. Absolutely. It's a good free one that's out there. Teams. Andras, what's Teams exactly? Is that an application? I'm not familiar with Teams. Take a look here. Oh, Microsoft Teams. Got it. Okay, cool. Thanks. VPN, Zoom, Microsoft Teams. There we go. Okay, so whatever's working for you, you have some things in place. You don't need to create anything new there in that case, which is great. But there's a lot of good technology out there, and just be conscious of it. That suddenly your IT department isn't down the hallway, unless you have teenage kids. Then you have an IT team handy. But the normal people, of course, they're home as well, and they can help you remotely, but they can't come in and solve your immediate problems. The next tip is really talk about embracing the opportunity and learning how to manage it. What's interesting this time is that you need to work. You've got work to do. Work hasn't stopped. I mean, it's slowed down and obviously shifted in many directions because a lot of things are getting put off for obvious reasons. But you're still working, but you are at home. And so here's a unique opportunity for you to embrace that. I talked about you have some more time available in the day available to you. And so take advantage of that. You're not going to have the same interruptions. You're going to have some found time available for you. I mean, if it's a great time to pick up some of the books you've been thinking about reading. This is my reading stack. Just part of it, actually, of things I need to get through. So it's a chance to try to dig in, to do some reading, take some time for you. If you're not stuck in places where they're limiting your mobility outside your home, go for a walk. The air's clean, the air's free. Great chance to get out, springtime, good time to get out, stretch your legs a bit. And now really we're kind of trying to find that balance between home and work. It's kind of unique. I was talking about the work-life balance, but here it is right in our faces. So it's a chance now to embrace that and kind of lean into it and see how can you take advantage of this for you. It's an opportunity for you to do something. Look, if you buy a microphone and buy a webcam, you could start doing podcasts. Just a thought for you. You've been thinking about doing a podcast? Here's a chance to try to knock that out. I use Duolingo to study languages, and this popped up on my screen. It was loading up. 15 minutes a day, can teach you a language? What can 15 minutes of social media do? And that's kind of a cautionary, and I love the thought as well, because indeed, you can spend 15 minutes on Duolingo and over time learn a language, as opposed to just binging out on Facebook or something like that. At the same time, I think it's a great time for us to maybe distance ourselves a bit from social media, or at least not get sucked into the time suck that those things can be, because you get on there and extra time now, and suddenly you're on for another hour when you could be doing something more productive. And a lot of the, watching the news feeds nonstop, it's not really a positive experience at this point for us. Stay aware of what's going on, but take some time for yourself. It's a time to read, maybe do some exercise, try some cooking, do some things different that you've done in the past. You now have some gaps throughout your day. And again, you've lost that long commute that you've had. So it's a great opportunity just to take advantage of of this extra time you have of just doing something for you. It's a good opportunity for that. Really, it's important to stay connected with your colleagues. A colleague of mine, a little screenshot from our chat the other day. What's interesting is that, you now have this, you have this uninterrupted time, which you're going to enjoy because you can really focus. You can get to the flow working on a project. At the same time, it's going to be really isolated here very quickly, especially if you're accustomed to being around people. Now, some of you are using things like some of the team applications and so forth that we talked about. But the other part is using Skype or using Zoom or FaceTime or whatever your tool is you like to use. Stay connected with your colleagues. If you think about it, when you're in an office, it's not all work. You do catch up on the latest news, or latest TV series, what's happening with their family, and this type of thing. Normal, we're talking around the water cooler conversation around a cup of coffee. We'll try to maintain that. There's nothing to stop you from grabbing a cup of coffee and calling a friend and say, hey, let's have a cup of coffee together, and maintain that contact. We are social animals, and it's really important to maintain those social connections. Those of you who've worked on your own, worked remote for some time, know that feeling, and you figured out how to connect with people. And I tell you, the technology we have available today is lovely because you can FaceTime with somebody. I'm able to talk to you live here. I did the conference last night with 15 people on cameras. We could see each other. It's not the same as being in the same room, but it's close. But maintain that connection and allowing time for the social side of those connections is really, really key here. So I encourage you to continue those conversations. Enjoy your time alone to get some stuff done, but also make sure you maintain that contact with your colleagues. The last one really is about leaving work when the day is done. The beauty of working from home is your office is right there. The curse of working from home is your office is right there. And so you've got to try to set a time. What time did you typically go home? What time do you typically leave the office? Think about that. I know it changes based on projects and demands and what's going on, or travel schedules. But try to set a time for yourself where you walk out that door and close the door, and try to maintain that. This may be the hardest one. When I sent this out as a post on LinkedIn the other day, and most people have said the hardest one is this one, to leave work at the end of the day. Yeah, okay, B, good point. I hadn't thought about B, just mentioned that when school kids are at home, it's easy to start your workday when they go to bed. So, okay, so again, it's shifting your schedule perhaps, and if you have that flexibility with your workplace, cool. I think companies have to be fairly flexible, especially for people with young kids at home, because they need attention, right? They need food. The homeschooling thing is something new. I've heard several parents go, I'm not a teacher. And the answer is, you are now. So, so you got to figure out how to make that schedule work for you. But, B, absolutely, if it works better for you to do some work after hours when the kids have gone to bed, you've done some other things, more the personal time earlier in the day in that case. So again, it's trying to figure out that flow and that balance between work and home. But the most important, the comment here really is that be careful not to just keep going back to work. And anybody who's worked from home will agree it's too easy. It's just down the hall. I'm going to pop in and do this, and an hour later you come out after doing a bunch of work. And I'm guilty of this too. It's really hard to draw the line, but it's something really to strive for, I think, more than anything else. Before we really, that was the main thought what I wanted to share with you. Any questions, any comments we have? Feel free to pop them in the window here. Additions, thoughts, process. If you have anything, if I missed something here, let me know. I'm going to add something to the conversation. You're all really quiet all of a sudden. Yeah, it's not ideal to be, I understand it's not perfect to have that do it that way. Like falling down the rabbit hole of Google. Erica, good question. Look, I'm open to the audience for that on how to do that. It's really, putting your bridge when it should be working. Yeah, sure, I hear you. So, look, that's just personal discipline in most cases. I think, Erica, perhaps the rabbit hole of Google, probably just getting on searching and searching and going deeper and deeper on some things. If you want to do some searches like that, maybe you set a timer on your phone. Give yourself 10 minutes, 15 minutes to do some searching, and then just have that alarm wake you up to saying, wait, do I need to continue this, or is it time to step away? Okay, Carol, trying to work out a daily, weekly schedule. I think it's really important. You know, working from home, I usually did my next week's schedule on a Friday. It was just a good way to wrap up the week. What did I accomplish? What needs to be done next week? I've got my whiteboard with some priorities on it. It's kind of map out the schedule. And again, if you don't have kids at home or not, but think through those implications. Is your spouse home, or your partner? You have a partner with you, and how does that work into that equation? Because it's really easy if you're home with a partner that typically you're not together to sit down and drink coffee, and suddenly 2 hours later you're still drinking coffee together. So the schedule thing is really just I encourage just getting yourself up. I select paper calendars in some cases. I use my online calendar, of course, but I use a paper calendar to map out some specific thoughts and sort of a what by when listing. I need to get this done by Wednesday. I need to get this done by, that can wait till Friday, just a normal work schedule. But also think about the schedule throughout the day. And of course, we have to keep in mind our clients, what's working for them. I'm doing a lot of texting with clients right now saying, are you free? Because I don't know what their situation is, right? So it's a little touchy-feely situation here. So you're welcome. To-do list helps me a lot in that case, and try to map it out accordingly. Louise, yeah, pick up the phone, actually chat. There you go. You could have done 10,000 steps a day while talking on the phone to client. Absolutely. So yeah, pick up the phone and call people. Again, it's that connection. And I encourage the video part, just because, especially with colleagues and stuff, you can do that. But pick up the phone, have a call, have that chat with people. Yeah, Cosme, I don't know. I don't know how you're going to deal with that. That's brutal to me. I'm not sure what that solution is going to be, to be stuck 24/7 in your flat with kids. That's going to shift your whole schedule, I think, in many cases, of trying to find how you can work. And I think, hopefully your employer or whoever you work for understands those constraints that you're working under. They have to, because this is just unparalleled. None of us have lived through this. This is like a World War II confinement with the bombings of London or something. We're just in a whole different space for multiple generations. We haven't been in this situation. So I think, Cosme, you're gonna have to figure out, time with the kids and how to set some time aside for you, and you're stuck in a flat to make that happen. That's gonna be a tricky one. I'll be curious to see how you get along with that. Levy. Right. That's a good question about camera on or camera off, with teams and so forth. Yesterday on my call, with this group, I had 15 people on the call. Some had their camera off for whatever reason. They didn't have a camera in one case. In other cases, etiquette, I encourage the face-to-face. I don't get hung up about it if they're not on camera. Sometimes somebody didn't want to shave. They don't do the makeup. I don't know. Whatever the case is, or they got a bad cold and look bad on camera. I'm okay with that. I think it's more, are they engaged? Are they plugged in or not? They can see you, so that's half of it. You can't see them. It's a little awkward, but I think it's still manageable. Hannah. Yeah, good question, Hannah. One living space, 2 people working at home. Can you work out maybe a schedule? Can you work out a schedule with the workspace? Can you set up a separate workspace, and can you work out a schedule where you're working a couple of hours at a time, perhaps? And the other couple of hours you're taking your laptop and going where it's less convenient, or something, or sitting on the couch and doing some work instead of at the table or in the other room or something. Maybe work out a schedule as a thought on how to balance that. Just an idea. Any other questions or comments from anyone? Well, that's pretty cool. So, oh, here's one more. Oh, you're welcome, Louise. Thank you. Thank you very much. Just for reference, two things. One, I'm doing another webinar for CTAM 2 weeks from now on April 1st. And it's called Pause, Think, Create, which is the keynote I do. And I'll do the keynote live on here. And we got part one and part two, and they tie in one to the other. Part one is actually a keynote. Only join for half an hour, join that. Part two then is actually a workshop where I teach you a creative thinking technique. I'll teach you, you'll learn it on the call. And you'll be able to use it then for your thought processes, for your planning, for projects, and so forth. So I hope to see you then. You know, it'd be great to see you then. And in the meantime, here are my details. So if you feel like reaching out to me, it'd be great. Here's my email address, my mobile number, my website. Find me on LinkedIn if we're not connected. And if you're curious about the Creative Nibbles series, take a look at it. It's kind of fun. I enjoy shooting. I've shot 3 seasons so far. Season number 4 right now. I need to get it sorted out and get that up and running. But it's a DRH photo is my handle on YouTube. So anything else? Anybody else? If not, Karen, should I hand it back to you?
Dennis, fabulous as usual. Thank you. Really good tips. My 2 takeaways now are: the door is your friend and stay away from the fridge. That's the 2 that I need to remember. Thank you. So for everybody, I hope you enjoyed it. If you wish to view the presentation again, this will be uploaded onto the members only section of the CTAM Europe website. Alongside, there's lots of past webinars, podcasts there, so you can keep connected while you're away from home. You might wish to check out a few of those. And then, as Dennis says, he is back with us in 2 weeks on Webinar Wednesday. And we've got Bernd Riefler next week from Veed Analytics. So we hope that you can join as many as possible. We're hoping to do it till mid-May. At the moment, we've got 4 set up definitely, and we've got 4 or 5 more in the pipeline. So watch this space. And for anybody who's not a member of CTAM Europe, we hope this will persuade you to come on board. See how fabulous all the webinars are going to be. And until then, Dennis, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thanks for us both. And
stay safe, everyone. Thank you.
Keep safe, yes. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.